Hi, and welcome to the video on fees. This content type is only available to certain people, and this content type is used to manage all the fee information about a particular qualification. Fee information about a particular qualification is shown in two main areas. One on the qualification page itself, and the other one on a page, a fees table page. This page contains tables with big listings of fees with all the quals listed. So here, this diagram here gives you a bit of a high-level picture of what's going on here. So the fees isn't a single content type. It's actually essentially 3 content types, or even 4 content types. So the content types are the fee, what's called a fee setting, a fee table row, and the qualification. So these 4 content types working together make for the full fees system, if you like. So the fee content type is where all the fee information is actually kept. This content type contains all of the information. The fee setting is used in the fees tables pages. This is just used to tweak a few things, like whether or not it's an international fee or domestic fee, whether we want column 1 to come first or column 2. I'll explain the columns in more detail shortly. The fee table row is what is actually shown in the fees table page. This content type simply allows you to choose which qual you actually want to show in that table. And lastly, the qualification page. So the qualification page, the fee table row, and the fee all share something in common. They all have a field in those content types where they are tagged against the actual qual that the fees are actually about. So when we jump into T4 and actually look at it, it'll be a bit clearer. So let's do that now. So over in T4, we're going to look at how fees are set up. So you'll see that if we go to the fees area, here are where the qualifications are. If we look at a particular qualification, we'll see that it's tagged Bachelor of Arts. So this is important, what it's tagged as. So there's no fee information in this particular content type. This particular content type is all about the qualification. But what's important to fees and the fees system is that it's correctly tagged Bachelor of Arts. So that's the qualification. Now we'll jump over to the fees table, fee tables. Here's fees, and here are the 4 main fees table pages. Let's look at domestic undergraduate fees. These 4 fees table pages are usually further broken up into different categories of programs. So, for example, here, certificates and diplomas, bachelor's, and graduate certificate and diplomas. These red ones here, appending deletion. So these sections here represent 3 different tables that will appear on the fees table page. That's simply what it is. There's just 3 tables here. And each of these sections is the next content type, fees table row. So if we look at this particular one, this here is tagged undergraduate certificates and diplomas. So that will pull through any fees that have been tagged undergraduate certificate and diplomas. So now we'll briefly talk about the fees setting. This is number 3. This is content type number 3 in the fees system. Fees setting sits in a section above the sections that represent each table on the fees table page. The fees setting is the only content type that is appropriate to be in this section. So this content type is fairly simple. It just has the column 1 and column 2 headings, whether to display both columns, just column 1, just column 2, or reverse the order of those columns. Whether this is an international or domestic fee that we're showing, and whether there is a GST component, what we want the heading of that GST column to be. So there is a fees setting for each fees table page. So there are 4 fees table pages, there are 4 fees settings. And each of those 4 fees table pages contains 3 or 4 tables, distinct tables, with different types of programs. So, if you recall the related contents video, the next step of how these are set up is just essentially using related contents in the actual fees table page. There is a related contents item on this page for each of the tables we want to display. So in this case there are 3. If we go into one of these, bachelor's, we'll see that it's just using the fees content type, and then the section is pointing at the bachelor's section underneath our qualification section, which contains our fees setting. And that just works like any other related contents, just like it was content blocks or an image carousel, or tabs, or accordions for that matter. So the last bit now is where you actually go to actually manage the fees themselves. So there is a hidden section in this area here called all qualification fees. This section is essentially just a repository of all the fees. This is not a page. So this is where all the fees sit. It's 157 here, representing all the qualification programs that we have on the website. So let's open up the Bachelor of Arts. So you see here that this one is tagged Bachelor's Degrees and Bachelor of Arts. So the Bachelor Degrees tag makes sure that this appears in the Bachelor's Degrees fees table. The Bachelor of Arts tag makes sure that it appears on the Bachelor of Arts qualification page. So using this central list it's a hierarchical list of qualifications and the types of qualifications, whether bachelor's or honours degrees. That is how the corresponding fees information is pulled through to either the fees table page or the qual page. So there's very little to do here, and the most important one is that we actually link to the actual qual page itself. This is so that when people are looking at the fee in the fees table, they can click on a link and it will actually take them to that qual page. The system doesn't know where that qual page is specifically, so we just need to tell it. But the main guts of the fees, of managing fees, is when you click this button here, and this will pop up a window where all the information about that particular qual, all the fees, can be maintained. So there's two tabs here, domestic fees and international fees. You can add more rows by clicking this button, or remove rows, reorder rows, and you can put the GST price here, which will apply for international fees. And you can also specify whether this fee is to appear in column 1 or column 2. Now column 1 and column 2 are only applicable for the fees tables, and I'll show you why. So here we are now looking at those fees table pages on the website. So this will hopefully make some sense of how it's been laid out. So on domestic undergraduate fees, you'll see that we have 3 tables: bachelor's, graduate certificate and diplomas, and certificates and diplomas. So these 3 tables are what are being displayed through the related contents on that page. So here we have these 2 columns, and these just have the designation of either column 1 or column 2, and it's the fees setting that determines which ones are shown and which ones shown first or second, and what the actual heading is. And then it's up to you then to just pick one of the fees from this list of banded fees here that you want to show in column 1 or column 2. So on the qual page, all of these fees will show, but because there's only limited room on the fees table page, you have to specify what fees you actually want to display. But like what's showing here for the Bachelor of Product Design, you can specify multiple fees in column 1, and we'll look at that shortly. So I'm going to click on the Bachelor of Arts, and it's going to take me through to the qual page, and then if I scroll down to the fees area, we're going to see a list of all the fees for domestic and international. And international is going to include the GST exclusive price. So this here represent what we're seeing here. So I'm just going to jump over to the Bachelor of Product Design now and just look at that one, and you'll see it's tagged Bachelor's Degrees in Bachelor of Product Design. Open up the table and we'll see that there are 3 fees for column 1 and 3 for column 2, and that's why if we go to the Bachelor of Product Design in the fees table, that's why we get these 3 entries here, because you can actually display more than one fee. You just need to tag which column you want. And what happens here is that when it comes to retire 2021 fees, you can select to just show this one column, and then when you are putting in the new fees for 2023, you can then tag those ones as column 1 and either remove these ones or unset them entirely if you want to retain the fee but not have them show up in the fees table. But if they're not showing on a column, they will still show in the qual on the qual page. So all fees will show in this table.